What is going on, YouTube? RoboSwitcher here, bringing you guys this Jesmon deck profile. I'll have a video up of it, of a gameplay where it's still good. Don't let this card sleep on you because it is very painful when this deck actually goes off, and it has become very consistent in the new format. So without further ado, let me go ahead and put this back in the actual order so we can go off with the deck profile. First off, first ugly baby, Digimon. Why do you play this card?
It says plus 2k with piercing.
I mean, yeah, it works, but you know, if you don't want to attack through something, then this card kind of is meh, but that's why we cap out on this one. You'll find out very quickly that this whole deck is max rarity, and I feel like a peasant just laying out the cards.
It's not entirely max rarity.
Shut up, yes it is. It's as rare as it can possibly be.
No, it's not.
Oh.
I disagree.
Well, let's see. But you play 4 Demi-Meramon. This, when attacking this Digimon game, when it attacks a player, it gains 1,000. Pretty self-explanatory. Hey, it makes Jesmon 17k most of the time, so it's kind of correct. Next up, again, max rarity. There's 4 pre-release Huckmons. If you played in BT6, you know what this card does. You search 5, you find 2 cards of the archetype, you grab them. You have to play 4. And then they also play 4 of these. Didn't you guys originally have 3 of this?
We're between 3 and 4 of this, just swapping it with the Biomon as is.
This is
this one gives you more Sistermon supply to your deck, so you'll thin the deck a little easier.
Yeah. You also get to take all the Sistermons, which is kind of correct. And 3k can come up because you can use the option card to give him, be able to attack unsuspended Digimon and say screw a Bokomon, because that is what happens. And then so if you hear any people talking, it's CV and Bo from Steel Fox. They're the one that put the deck together, and it technically won at the last locals.
What do you mean technically? It just did.
It did.
It 2-0'd everybody. So next up, we run 3 copies of Biomon to run off our red baby list.
I can see where you think it's all max rarity.
Yeah, it's all max rarity.
No, it's not.
This one is when you inherit it when you attack a player, draw a card, so it's just more draw power, help you filter through, find all your pieces, because if you don't find your pieces, this deck just dies. But there's so much search now that it works without issue. 4 copies of Pretty Sistermon Block. This deck is just really good. This is another self-explanatory card. It gives all your Sistermon blocker when you play it, draw 1. This card just gets better because we play 2 copies of Blanc Awakened, so this is more targets for your Huckmon. This is whenever you play it, you can place the Sistermon Blanc from your trash or your hand on the bottom of its Digivolution cards to recover 1. Red gets recovery.
Don't forget that on deletion, because that's just as good.
Yeah, then on deletion, return 1 card with Jesmon, Huckmon, or Sistermon in its name other than Sistermon Blanc Awakened from your trash to your hand. So you can actually get this. You can Digivolve this on top of a level 3 for 2. So you can Digivolve this on top of your Sistermon and then swing in and kill it so that you get the, like, what if you have like a Savior in trash and you want to get it back. So that kind of comes up, but again,
It'll come up a lot more after the Savior restriction actually happens.
oh, sad times. Here's the lowest rarity card in the deck because this is the highest rarity version of it. 4 copies of Huckmon. This is just consistency to give you the more search targets. The effect also comes up. You'll be able to pop a 5k.
The most important thing that he does
Boko.
nowadays, he
He's
says,
6K.
get that Boko off my field.
Yeah, get that Boko off my field. He's also 6k, which kind of comes up, especially if you have the option, or you can make him a little bit bigger with like a Sistermon. You can attack into most of the hybrids in the format because they're all 6k or lower. 4 copies of starter deck Greymon.
So here's where we start not being max rarity. These have the option of being judge foils now.
There's a this was a judge foil one?
This is a judge foil. So technically it starts here.
Sorry, wallet people who want to have this as a judge foil. That hurts. But other than that, max rarity is possible. This is what was Tamer Party? What was this?
This is Tamer Party.
This is Tamer Party 1. Security attack +1.
It's my favorite art of it, for
yeah,
sure.
It looks really good. Security attack +1 is just really good. You know, you get a giant Jesmon stack with a tile on the field that swings 3 checks, then you do it again. Do it twice per turn, so pretty easy. 2 Agunimon to finish the game because hybrids are still busted. Just if you have the memory after playing 2 seals, then you just go into a hybrid.
I literally looked at all the different red hybrid stuff that came out this set, and I've just still settled on Agunimon.
Agunimon's the best because it really doesn't matter what it is as long as it's a hybrid, and the other ones just don't do anything when you Digivolve on top of them. So.
I also have it in the instance you actually do have to Digivolve and make a stack.
Oh, yeah.
Because the other ones are 3s on regular stuff.
Yeah, that's true. And then 2 Sistermon seals. For all you Japanese people who may watch this video, this is this new alt art. Somebody needs a. Do you need a Sistermon Noir alt art? You want to complete the collection? You know you need it. You know you need it.
That's a different day's problem.
But so this is just a good one to play. It's not as good. It's just as good as Seal. I mean, as Blanc, but it comes up. You really only need to see one of them, whereas you probably want to see more than one Blanc so you can activate your other Awakened. But this card, don't play the Awakened version of this one. It doesn't do nearly enough compared to the other ones. Because it's what, like on play delete a 5 cost or less or something like that?
Yeah.
So that's it for our level 4s. Now we run 4 copies of Save Your Huckmon. This is still not the post-restriction list that happens in April when BT8 more than likely drops. When Digivolving,
I assume May.
yeah. When Digivolving, you can play a Huckmon, or I mean a Sistermon, and then he has the restand ability that makes this really busted. The reason this card gets banned isn't because of just, you know, the actual combo, but also because Alice and Chimeramon are absolutely cracked. But we won't go over that now. Next up, rounding it out. 2 copies of War Growlmon. So you chose War Growlmon over Voltramon, more than likely what? Because of the 8 cost originally for Geltswarmer?
Originally it was 8 cost for Geltswarmer. This one has the option of actually playing, attacking, popping a Boko. If you have something else, pop something else.
We have a lot of Boko hate in this neighborhood, and we stand for it. So this is also kind of niche because if you have to go into a really crusty stack with like War Growlmon and Bao Huckmon, you still get the security attack that you would from like a Greymon. You get the pop up of Bao Huckmon, and then you also still get the security attack now because this is active. It all happens in the same turn, so that helps out a little bit even if you can't restand. But if you go into like Omnimon, you're still cracked. 4 copies of the Lad.
All right, here's another spot.
Oh, you're not going to talk about Event Pack 2?
I mean, that does count.
Yeah, I don't know how expensive the Event Pack 2 ones are.
That also comes into which art you like more, though.
Yeah.
I kind of like the cartoony version of it.
Yeah, so this is the big bad boy himself. It's funny, this deck was rampant everywhere in BT6 and then didn't make a single top at Nats. So, but that's because it was so inconsistent. Now you have ways to find your Sistermons and find your Jesmons a little bit. Well, they've adjusted their numbers to help find their Jesmons a little bit more.
Don't get touched on by Ice Ball.
Yeah, you don't get absolutely hurt emotional damage by Ice Wall. So 4 copies you have to run 4. As the day of this recording, they just announced that in BT10 you will have X antibody Jesmon, so don't expect these cards to go anywhere anytime soon, even after the ban list. Well, kind of. Rounding it out, we have 1 more copy of one more level 6. This is War Greymon, BT1. Security attack +1 on Digivolve, and then he's got ADP built in. I had this happen today in playtesting where he Digivolved this with 2 ties on the field with a Bowhuck underneath and OTK'd me. It was a sad time.
It's really good. It's a good option.
So, solid option for a backup level 5. People run Gallantmon, but I think the ability to just...
War Greymon's a 3-2, so if your tie is out, you're ready to go.
Yeah.
It doesn't even
Well, I
matter.
like started at Gallantmon, but at the same time...
Started at Gallantmon, yeah. But like, you're not running the Guillemons anymore either,
Yeah, so you don't warp into it as often, so...
That is the max rarity of that. I had to make sure there's no tournament promo of
No,
that one.
there's
I had to
there's
check.
not.
They've done like 4 or 5 of the starter deck ones.
Yeah, the starter deck one. This one, whatever you want to call max rarity on this, because there's like, what, 4 alt arts of this card?
Yeah.
One Omnimon. Again, this completes the OTK. You check a whole bunch, you can't get through that last one, you Digivolve an Omnimon, swing that last check. Fun thing to note, if you're playing against something that you're afraid you're going to get pierced through, and you don't quite have game, you can also choose to restand with the Jesmon, Digivolve into this, blitz, and then restand. So it still blitzes, it stays unsuspended, so that you don't have to worry about getting pierced or swung.
If that
over
all
by
white
something.
Omnimon would have been a blitz one, we would have ran that one.
Yeah, oh god, that all white one. We're maxing out, I wouldn't say. We go 3 tie. You want to see tie. If you see tie, you have full combo most of the time. Like being able to see tie and have the memory to do whatever you want to, and then the security attack +1 is just too good and too consistent. So you definitely run 3 tie. they've put 3 red memory boost. Normally, if you see the tide go up, you see the red memory boost drop down. But I actually think this is really, really solid.
We aim for consistency.
Yeah.
Memory jump, looking for level 5s, which is the biggest search in the deck.
Yeah, so and this deck definitely still is very good. There's so much setup, as CB has said before, there's so much setup in this format that if they don't set up fast enough, usually even just passing you over to 1 memory, if they don't have a memory tamer, you're setting up just as fast.
Like, I had to shelf it last format because there was no time to look for your pieces. But with everybody playing Tamers turn 1 and 2, most of the time you have time to look for pieces this format.
Yeah, like stuff in the last format going into Bond, you'd drop your mats, you'd have your Gabumon raise up, they'd get more cycle, they'd get more memory, they'd swing in, do chip damage, and all of a sudden Bond would come out and you'd lose. That can still happen in this format. Don't sleep on Bond. I'm sure it'll still show up. Some people will probably play it, but you have way more time to set up, and then this is also good. Although this format runs a lot of memory blockers, but we have a lot of hate removal for memory blockers too, so 3 is really good. And then you also get to play this really cute art, him eating spaghetti and omelets. I'm sorry, it's cute.
I just like to start it off with, I know this card has a real name, but I just use it to run my rookies into Pokemons.
Yep, this is Blade. This is Kill Pokemon with small boys. Judgment of the Blade. They only run 2. I'll kind of go over that right here. They run 1 copy of a Delicate Plan in the main board. This is kind of a flex spot. They've mentioned the Delicate Plan could probably be replaced with another Judgment if you don't need
Judgment, a level 5. There's a lot of possibilities you could turn it into.
Honestly, another Judgment would be high.
Yeah, with sideboards being a thing, you probably don't have to have this card in the main board. They don't have a sideboard built together for this, but to go over a few things, you could definitely put 3 copies of this, 2 you max out the consistency on this, put maybe 2 copies of ADP in the sideboard, run things that are like option hate, like Magna Kidmon, or certain different removal spells if you're just going to keep on seeing bigger things. But I don't even think you do that. You may actually just max out on your memory moves and stuff.
And if it tells you anything, like the tournament that I won with was with everybody having sideboards.
Yeah.
And this deck doesn't have
And it literally didn't run a
I
sideboard.
would like to
so
note
it
I
shows
didn't
you the
have my
consistency.
sideboard ready for the finals.
But it still works. The Blade, of course, lets you play a Sistermon from your hand or trash. So this is really good if it comes out of security. In the past, I have lost games to this coming out of security on the second or the last check, playing a Sistermon when there was a Huckmon on the field and just not being able to get over it. So, and then of course ADP is just ADP. Really good card. So that is the deck profile. It makes me feel really poor every single time I look at it because everything is max rarity. Blood Judgment of the Blade is a common, so you can't even get a shiny version of that one. So, but that's Jesmon. Don't sleep on this deck. If you look at the list, it's probably just the 2 consistency cards that they've added in the Blanc Awakened and the Huckmon are really all that the deck needed to be really consistent. Actually, and the fact that mulligans are a thing. If you have a brick hand, that was the worst thing that you start off with Jesmon. You just, I don't have a rookie, or I don't have any search and I don't have any of the pieces. And then the rest of the decks in the format would set up. You can mulligan the hand right now if at DigiFest and at our locals we're trying it out. But without that, it still probably would hurt some, but it's still more consistent than it used to be. But then now with that, you can just ditch your bad hand of 5, and even if you ditch a Jesmon or 2, you can usually probably find it if you dig deep enough. So, but anyway, guys, that's the deck list. We had again Bo and Tommy from Steel Fox Games put the list together. Been playing it, been enjoying it. Plug Steel Fox Games. It's the logo I go to. Come buy cards here. We're in Shreveport-Bossier area. So anyway, guys. If you enjoy it, leave any comments down below if you want to ask any more questions about the list or sideboard options that you guys would want to add, or maybe a couple more reasons why they may have added ratios to certain that we didn't go over enough. But other than that, guys, until next time, have a good one.